Stephen A. Smith has no shortage of opinions, whether he's talking about sports on ESPN's First Take.
So I had to
on his new Sirius XM show,
check in
Straight Shooter with
on this
Stephen A.
interview
So please welcome back Stephen A. Smith.
because I have to hear what this cat gonna say. And as a black man in America, I'm telling y'all, this dude right here, he is not representative of us.
We have a question.
And I'm gonna show you why.
Yes. But I went on there from 10 to 11, and then they said my teammates at ABC needed me here, so I'm here.
I flew right across the hall.
That's right.
It is nice to have you as a neighbor and at the table.
Thank you so much. Good to see y'all.
So it's been a minute since you were here. Last time you were here, it was 6 weeks into Trump 2.0, his second administration. And you had some
And just so y'all know,
criticisms of Democrats
he's a Trump
in the
supporter.
election for having sort of lost touch with the issues the voters cared about. How are you feeling now a year into Trump? And what do you make of
And
this
watch how he
discussion around
spins for him.
affordability and him saying it seems like it's a scam from Democrats?
Well, that's rhetoric on his part. There's nothing surprising or unpredictable about that. You can see that coming from a mile away because he has to say that right now because it's an issue and a concern for the American people. And he wants to act as if there is no concern because everything he's doing is just so beautiful and so marvelous and what have you. But in the end, the Democrats give the credit where credit is due at this particular moment in time. I think that they've learned from some of their mistakes anyway. When you see what happened in New York with Mamdani.
So he's going to blame this on the Democrats. See, this is spin he's going into.
Clearly, there's
Watch.
something that's going on within the Democratic establishment that's saying, let's focus on real issues that are pertinent to the American people. Let's make sure we articulate ourselves appropriately so we don't lose sight of what the message should be. Leading up to the election, they did just that, and I thought they handed him the election as opposed to him actually winning it.
See,
now
there you go.
they're forcing him to play ball and figure out a way to beat them because they're coming and they're gaining some momentum. We'll see what happens from there.
Well, Stephen, as we wait the release of the Epstein files,
Let's press him on Trump, though.
Democrats released
Let's see how he reacts
photos, from
to questions on Trump.
Private island.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, is this the tip of
Watch him downplay
what
that
do you
shit.
think the Trump administration will actually and ultimately release? And if they have nothing to hide, why did they fight so forcefully against this?
Well, I'm suspicious. I'm suspicious in terms of, the hesitancy in releasing the Epstein files, particularly when it's something you campaigned on.
Yeah.
So I think in that regard, fine. But I also believe that there are people that have seen the Epstein files, and if there was something directly incriminating about Trump, it's something that we would have found out about it before the election because every measure would have been exhausted to make sure he didn't return to the White House. I do believe, however, when you have power brokers,
it don't matter.
What happens is
Trump knew what was going on. It don't matter whether he was involved directly in molesting those children. Trump knew what the fuck was going on. This nigga is spinning for this cat, man.
I'm not saying he wasn't in the file. It wasn't in the files. I'm saying that if it was something really, really incriminating against him, I think we would have heard about it by now.
Why you think that?
Him and others on both sides of the aisle they have friends that they're trying to protect.
Well, it could be billionaires and people that
Sure, that's what I'm talking
supply
about.
their whole
That's what I'm talking
yeah.
about. That's what I'm talking about. And let's not.
Well, wasn't Trump?
Let's not act like that's a surprise.
He says he was a very close friend of his. I mean, he denies that.
Once upon a time, he did say that, but there's also videos of him calling out Epstein and saying, down the line,
that's a defense lawyer.
There's going to be some dirt you're going to find out about this.
Yeah, but remember what year he said that?
2015.
Yeah, when he came down the escalator.
They did reportedly have a falling
See,
out.
he won't do
I
anything
heard it was over some property
to
in Florida, believe it or not.
impugn Donald Trump.
It is what it is, but the point is that
he's going to
Epstein
deflect
was doing what he was doing for years. So whether it was 2015
and blame it on somebody else.
I don't care when it was. If you're that kind of despicable human being, I want to find out about it. Damn, if it was 20 years
The
ago.
exact same thing Donald Trump does. Like I said, Stephen A., you are a smart, intelligent brother, man. Articulate as fuck. You got a fucking high IQ when it comes to speaking about things that you say you believe.
Tirades, the middle of the night, he's texting and
But you missed the motherfucking point.
A name that
So many times, bro.
It's a disability. He's attacking
so many
female
fucking
reporters.
times.
He's piggy and ugly. He's falling asleep in the middle of a meeting. I mean, I said yesterday.
He ain't gonna comment on that. Watch how he spin this.
But not that boring.
He gonna pivot. Watch how he pivot off that.
So what do you think think's going on with
He a
him?
basketball player.
Trump is being Trump.
There you go.
Oh, really? There's nothing
Pivot.
cognitively wrong?
Pivot.
Well, I'm not saying whether there is or isn't. What I'm saying is 77 million people don't care. They voted for him. And those same 77 million people.
Is it still that number?
They were doing it. Well, you could say that it is or isn't, but the point is he's the president of the United States.
Pivot.
Despite the onslaught of stuff that was coming his way, he knocked off folks, and the Democrats let him because they weren't on their game. Now you have to look at, because obviously he's not going to circumvent the 22nd Amendment, which will enable him to run for a third
See,
term.
they let him get his shot up.
J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio
Now he on the run.
adult in the room, Secretary of State, National Defense, the National Security.
Nobody's blocking
J.D.
him.
Vance, he's the vice president, but he seems more Trump-ish in terms of how he conducts himself and how he's willing to go after people. So who is Trump going to support? One of the things that I talked about on my show was that I said,
spin?
don't fall for it. Look at what Trump was doing. Trump is positioning himself to remain in power even if he isn't the president. He wants to make sure he
You
maintains
speaking the
that level of
obvious.
influence. And so because of
But you won't comment on the controversial.
President letting him out part
Yeah,
even though the man is alleged to assist in funneling 400.
We know that shit. That's common sense, nigga. Why you ain't talking about the shit that this nigga doing?
And you let him out in the same breath. You're bombing people in the Caribbean for the very thing that
said was a problem.
that you said was a problem.
Well, let's talk about
Okay.
He's doing what he's doing, but in the end,
But see,
what
there
it
you
comes
go.
down to is that you're going to have to be him because he is going to make sure he dictates
If he
who his
stays away,
successor is
See,
going to
so
be.
he's acknowledging that what he's doing is fucked up, but he ain't gonna criticize.
my friends. And some things
This
you
cat
recently said.
is in Donald Trump's corner,
Okay,
man.
so you recently accused Senator.
He trying to play
Kelly,
both
a
sides of the
veteran
coin.
and astronaut,
Understand
of
this,
crossing the
people.
line for
Black people, white
participating in a
people,
video reminding troops that they can
all
refuse to
melanated
follow
people.
illegal orders. Let's see.
This
some
nigga is
of
Donald
what
Trump.
You said, my friend.
Sure.
As a sportscaster.
Senator Kelly,
Now listen.
you know better. How dare you do that? You can go to the House. You can put up drawer up paperwork. You can try to start articles of impeachment if you think there's something illegal. I mean, damn, it ain't like y'all haven't done it before.
And this the same cat that
You
talk about
impeached the man
Jasmine
twice.
Crockett,
Where that get you? Got his behind back in the
how
White
she
House.
expresses herself.
Had you left them alone in 2020, maybe
What up,
you wouldn't be
Jazzy?
back. You don't tell
Texas
military
girl.
men and women to ignore an
We
order
ride for you, mama.
from the commander-in-chief. You
Believe
don't do
that.
Caffeine's a mix, you know?
Now let me just remind you that Pete Hegseth said in 2016, I do think there have to be consequences
Yeah.
for abject.
Now watch how he spin off of this. Watch
If
this
you're doing
pivot.
something that is just completely unlawful and ruthless, then there is a
Watch.
consequence for that. That's why the military said it won't follow
Hey, I'm a
unlawful
hooper, man.
orders from their commander-in-chief.
I
Now,
know
given
game.
the fact that the secretary himself
I can predict your moves.
I'd love to give you the opportunity to perhaps change your position on what you said.
I'm not changing a thing. I didn't
Okay.
stutter when
You
I
want to
said
stay
it.
loud and wrong?
I didn't, well, you can call it loud and wrong all you want to. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. Here's
Okay.
the reality of the situation. First of all, I don't give a damn what Pete Hegseth has to say because I will tell
Spin.
you right now, he was never qualified for the job. When you talk about DEI and eradicating that, excuse me, what was he doing hosting Fox News on the weekend and all of a
Yeah.
sudden he's the defense secretary?
Okay, we know that, but answer the question though.
Get that out the way.
Answer the question though,
What
bro.
I was talking about is military. What I did was get on the phone with family and friends who have served in the military. And I said, we're not civilians. This is not the court of law. You can be implicated for implying something if you are a former military member or you are a present military member. It wasn't what Mark Kelly said. It's the fact that he was a combat Navy pilot who served in the military who would tell folks, ignore an order.
Illegal.
I
See,
said illegal.
you didn't say that. Nigga, rewind the tape.
To follow an unlawful order. And
See,
that is
Stephen
in
A.,
the
we calling you out,
military
bro.
code of
And I'm
conduct.
saying to you,
You can be a valuable asset, homie.
which I'm aware of.
But it didn't sound like you were aware of that.
But you trying to play both sides of the coin, man.
Stephen, can I ask you a question?
I had
Mikey,
two governors, by the way,
Well-
text me to tell me I was wrong, and they agree with you.
You are
and I had two senators that reached out to me and said you weren't wrong at all.
well, Mikey Sherrill did
Okay,
say
so
that the reason
what
they
the
felt
fuck
the need
that
to put
mean,
that
nigga?
out is they were constantly being approached by people in the military saying we're being put in really uncomfortable
Yeah.
situations.
But-
that to me is a little more relatable when you're a veteran yourself.
But I'm saying let me say this real quick.
You got
because I
to
think
do real quick. Or wait till we come back.
All I'm saying is this. If you're a member of the military, I'm looking at the soldiers and saying, don't get yourself in trouble Let somebody else do it.
That's
Don't
what Mark
you do
Kelly
it because
said.
it ain't gonna work for you.
But you get
That was a list of slap kid, not Mikey Sherrill.
I'm sorry, okay. So
But that's what
whatever
that's what Mark Kelly and
was-
everybody in that video was saying. All right, man, we'll be back.